Yeah, no, this is helpful. I did my first one on. Oh.
We have 1 minute before the start time. I know I don't really need this, just so you guys know. But I'm required to utilize it because of the hybrid option. 1 minute. Oh, wait a minute, that says 11:50. Are you all ready? Today is a fast-paced world, is it not? It's so easy to get caught up in the whirlwind of activities and responsibilities that demand our attention. Come in front of us and just demand it. We often find ourselves rushing from one task to another, feeling overwhelmed and depleted. But what if I told you there's a way? It's a simple, powerful tool that can help us navigate chaos and unlock our true potential. The tool is the power of the pause and the art of taking a break. So I'm going to invite you to think again. How many have read the book by Adam Grant? Think again. I'll summarize it for you quickly. It explores the power of rethinking and unlearning outdated beliefs, habits, and assumptions. Why am I telling you that? Because a lot of you have the assumption that taking a break is not okay. That you are supposed to work 24/7, you're supposed to be on 24/7, you're supposed to go, 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 and get it all done. You need to rethink that. So he argues that intelligence is not about just thinking and learning, but also about the ability to rethink and unlearn. And that is a skill that is increasingly important when you need to train your brain that breaks are good. Say it back. Breaks are good. Okay, we can even expand our vocabulary. We can say breaks are fabulous. Breaks are superb. Awesome. But honestly, the power of the pause is the ability to just step back, take a breath, and create space between ourselves and the constant stream of stimuli that truly bombards us. It's about giving ourselves permissions to slow down, recharge, reflect. When we pause, we create an opportunity to connect with ourselves on a deeper level. We become more aware of our thoughts, feelings, and physical sensations. This self-awareness allows us to make conscious choices, respond to situations with greater clarity, and cultivate a sense of inner peace. So the benefits incorporating pauses in our daily lives are numerous. I don't want to skip too far ahead. But study has shown that short breaks throughout the day improve our focus. Do they not? They enhance our creativity. They reduce stress. And pausing can help us regulate our emotions, strengthen our relationships, and make better decisions. Incorporating the power of the pause into our lives does not require grand gestures or elaborate rituals. It can be as simple as taking a few deep breaths, going for a walk in nature, or listening to your favorite music. The key is to find what works for you and make it a regular practice. So, speaking of practice, we're going to get started right now with a little practice. Find a comfortable position. If you want to stand, go ahead and stand up. If you want to stay seated, go ahead and stay seated. Make sure your feet are flat on the floor. So, place your hand, one hand on your chest and the other on your belly. And I want you to take a slow inhale, breathing in through your nose and out through your mouth.
They can see you, but they can't hear you.
Really?
Mm-hmm. Is your mic on?
Yes. tech crew. Right, technical difficulty online, but we're gonna stay present in the room, and those that are online, you can't hear, so we'll get back to you. All right, do it again. In through your nose, out through your mouth. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale.
Let's keep doing it.
Inhale, exhale. Now, some great things to do whenever you're doing this for yourself is close your eyes. I see some of you doing it right here. Don't be scared. Close your eyes. Be in that moment, feeling that breath come inside. Keep breathing. I'm going to check something for the Zoom audience. Testing, testing. Is that any better? Can you ask the virtual audience, can you hear me now? All right. So the object of taking a moment to breathe is that it will give you clarity. You know your brain needs oxygen, right? You can't function with oxygen. You're like a little shark. And if you don't breathe, sharks have to swim. If you don't breathe, you're not going to be creative. You're not going to be focused. You're not going to, well, frankly, you might be on the floor if you don't breathe. But all jokes aside, there's more to breathing than just inhaling oxygen and exhaling carbon monoxide. How we breathe has a profound effect on our body, and we do it over 22,000 times a day. I'm Jen Wigington, and I am the Executive Director of the Indiana Association for the Adult and Continuing Education, otherwise known as IAACE. And I have my two fabulous assistants here, Katie and Sheila. Katie, Sheila, wave to the audience. All right, so my original motivation for, whoops, I'm getting trigger happy. Don't you hate when you get trigger happy? Go back. So my original motivation for creating this content, I presented this last year, which was just the art of taking a break. Was anybody here for it? One! Yay! Thanks for coming back. We're going to check in with you later to see how you've been doing. All right, so burnout. All my members kept telling me they're just so burnt out. But frankly, aren't you tired of being tired? Yes, we have to achieve work-life balance, and it's really important to me that that mindset is ingrained. But real lasting change happens when new habits are not only intentional, but also satisfying and rewarding. That's why it's crucial to choose a habit that truly works for, say it louder with me now, me. It's got to work for you. So I'm going to give you lots of ideas and lots of thoughts, and the presentation will be available on the app so that you can take it with you and take it back to your group. It's going to be there for you, but you got to pick what works for you. But today my goal is simple. It's to help you pause and rewind and be able to take a break and make it enjoyable. So, are you ready to dive in? All right, let's do it. So, taking breaks boosts your performance. Now, there's a lot of science. Anybody a scientist in the room? Anybody really? Oh my gosh, of course I have a scientist. Oh, wait, there's another one back there. Okay. Well, if you want the science really explained, you can go to them too. But let me just tell you the quick version of it. Research shows that breaks aren't just nice to have, they're essential for our focus, our energy, and our mental clarity. Have you ever felt mentally drained, but you just kept pushing on? I see some head shaking. Those of you that are attending virtually, go ahead and throw something in the chat if you feel that. Do you notice when your energy dips through the day? Well, that's because our bodies follow these 90-minute energy cycles. And ignoring these natural rhythms, well, it leads to burnout. Well-timed breaks will help keep us at our peak performance. Have you ever had an unfinished task nag at you all day long? And then especially when you're laying down to sleep and it's still just ding, ding. Well, that's the Ziggurat effect. And I know I practiced that so many times, and that's the best I got. So if it's not right, there's that. Well, our brains hold on to incomplete tasks, and stepping away helps clear the clutter. So the next time that you have that thing that's just tinging at you, that's whenever you step aside and you take some deep cleansing breaths. You walk away from it. So what's your go-to break? Is it walking, stretching, quick chat? I'd love to hear it in the chat for our virtual audience. Tell us, but what's your strategy for success? Who is taking breaks currently? I mean, the one from last year. I love that she raised her hand. Woohoo. Okay. All right. So there's more. There's all kinds of physical health benefits. How many of you have been sitting this last hour or so without moving? Now, a few of you got here early, real early, and you were, you're doing your conference thing. But whenever it comes to a conference, you do have to incorporate breaks in there as well. And the schedule doesn't always allow breaks as we should take them. But you gotta move to stay healthy. You've got to boost creativity and your problem solving skills. So have you ever had a great idea in the shower? Yeah. Because stepping away from a task, that allows your brain to process information. When you're stuck and you take a break, the ideas can just flow. You'd be really surprised where I have some of the craziest ideas I have. And I do a little crazy ideas whenever I'm doing my power pose at the beginning. Some of you saw my power pose, right? Well, there's more about that later. All right. So you can also lower your stress. You stay sharp. Stress can cloud our judgment. Have you ever been in a really stressful situation and you're trying so hard not to react right then because you know you're going to say the wrong thing? It's a key sign that you need to step away, bite your tongue for a lack of a better word, walk away from it and come back. So what's your favorite way to take a break? Yeah? Well, I play with my dog all the time and walk away from my computer, like walk around my basement. Yes. Just stand up and stretch. Feels good, don't it? And you're like, I can't get up right now. These chairs are too close together. Is that what you're thinking? I can read minds. Did I tell you that? So research consistently emphasizes the value of regular breaks and maintaining peak performance, boosting productivity, sparking creativity, and supporting our overall well-being. I obviously need more water. Taking breaks, yeah. By intentionally incorporating breaks into our daily routine, you can enhance your effectiveness in all areas. That's what the science says. Scientists, there's more to it, right? So if you want to do more science, this is not the place. Now we're going to learn why. So if you don't do all those breaks, if you don't, you're going to have low energy. You're going to be exhausted. You're going to have trouble controlling your mood. I know this happens to me at conference. You ever just get where you're like, oh man, I got to go to my room, turn this thing off. I am tired of having this face. Yeah. That smile, that go get attitude. Yep. You got another comment? I tell my students, if your bum is numb, your brain is the same. I love it. I love it. So you have to take breaks to stay refreshed. So what kind of breaks are there? Yeah, you guys probably know that there's all kinds of breaks. And are these fancy names for breaks? This is all just research, but there's micro breaks where you just a little less than 5 minutes. It can make a big difference. Sometimes you just need to step away for 5 minutes. There is the mental break where you can actually stand up, maybe do some arm circles, maybe some shoulder rolls to melt that tension away. Mental breaks, big difference between physical movement and mental as well. And then there's that physical break, resting your eyes and looking away from the screen. I'm a remote person. I'm on the computer. I do everything I do is on the computer. So I have to force myself to get up and walk around my basement a little bit. My dog is a great reminder. He's a great help. He reminds me that we have to go outside for a little bit, especially when it's nice. So we practice a little deep breathing. That's one. But how many times, when's the last time you went on a mindful walk? Now, my last mindful walk was on the beach. I love the feel of the sand between my toes. And you just walk and you feel the earth beneath your feet. Can you picture a place where you could do that mindful walk? Then the body scan. Whenever it comes to the body scan, you have to close your eyes. You have to bring attention to a part of your body. Now, this is one of the things that I will use whenever I'm having that tick, tick, tick when I'm laying down to go to sleep. Tell my brain, it's time to go to sleep. It's time to go to sleep. My nose, it's time to go to sleep. It's time to go to sleep. And you go all the way down to your toes. Don't get stressed out if you don't remember what a body part's called, okay? You can call them anything you want. You can say that thing behind me that follows me everywhere. It doesn't have to be the actual word. It's about scanning your entire body, tensing it up and relaxing it. It works for me really well when I have those things tinging in my head. All right, this is where we pause, and I want you to practice that shoulder roll. I want those circles big. Go all the way around. All the way. Even the one back on the phone. Yes, this means you too. You shoulder rolls. If you need to stand up, go ahead. Stand up, stretch. Do you feel the tension relaxing from your neck? Because conferences can be a little stressful. They can be like, oh, I gotta get there. I gotta get there. I don't know where I'm going. Where is that room? Pause. Roll your shoulders. I got this. All right. Are we ready? Now, the virtual audience, I hope you did those shoulder rolls at home as well, or in your room or wherever you are. All right. More breaks. When's the last time you did mindful eating? Because, hey, we're shoving that food in because we got 10 minutes, right? But have you ever just paid attention to the taste and the texture and the aroma of your food? Notice the sensations of chewing and swallowing and being thankful that it went all the way down and that it's nourishing your body. So this doesn't have to be with anything fancy. It can be with a piece of candy. Chocolate, that's my favorite, but hey, you do you. Taste it. That's a break. You got to give yourself those. We talked a little bit about progressive muscle relaxation, but when you tense up and you release that muscle, you hold it, it's just a way that you're telling your body, slow down, I got this. Don't get all tensed up, don't get all. And then guided meditation. Now we have a professional meditationer in the room, just so you know. Yeah, she's really good at that. But there's all kinds of ways to meditate. You can look up on YouTube and you can get, all kinds of guided meditations free. You don't have to pay for these. I've tried a bunch of them. Apple Fitness, I've tried them all. But what I find most that works actually best for me is I go sit anywhere. I prefer nature. And I just close my eyes and I guide myself through, I hear the bird. I wonder what kind of bird that is. Oh, what's that sound? I think that's a frog. So I create my own meditation in my head. Doesn't have to be anything special. It can be whatever you want it to be. It's you. You don't have to do anything fancy to take a guided meditation. But whenever you do meditate and you focus on cleansing your mind, the things that you can accomplish are freaking amazing. Excuse my French. I used the right word, didn't I? Okay, cool. All right, nature observations. We've talked a little bit about that, but it's a little hard to get out in nature when you're at a conference. But if you just sit and look out the window, maybe you could go to a nearby park, trees, flowers, take some deep breaths, just appreciate beauty. Oops, jumped ahead. Gratitude practice. So I do this with a journal, and I've tried lots of different things, and I have stacks of journals in my drawer in my nightstand. And you know what really scares me? Can I be honest with you guys? That somebody's going to read those whenever I'm gone. So I'm going to burn them eventually. But anyway, what I find works for me now is the gratitude journal on my phone. I can voice it. And it doesn't matter how it turns out. Doesn't matter that it's not grammarly correct and it doesn't have periods. I'm the only one that's going to see it. It's just about, I'm really grateful that I woke up today. Amen. I am so grateful that I am here with a wonderful team of people. And I'm so grateful that we get to host CoWave 2026 in Indianapolis. Got to throw that plug in. All right. So any other thoughts on is this something that you think you might be able to do, a little gratitude practice? Anybody do it now? Yeah, I'd love to see hands. Yeah, this one does it, yes. And if you want more about that, we have a session on Wednesday at 3 o'clock, right? Yeah. Yeah, it's at the very end of the day, so don't miss that. The very last bit. All right, so hiking is a passion of mine. Most of the times it's just about walking my Great Dane Hippo. And I was going to put a picture of him in there. And then I was like, no, that'll distract from the real message because you guys will be like, oh, he's so cute. All right. But Hippo's taught me so many things. He has taught me the power of the pause. Taking in a sniff, And it was him that we were on the Palmetto Trail in South Carolina, and we are getting ready to go over this railroad bridge. And all of a sudden he just stops. He's usually always like, and he just started looking over. And I was like, what are you looking at? And there's all these turtles just sunbathing on the side of the river. And I just sat there and I stared at them and I'm like, oh man, those turtles got it figured out. Just sunbathe, take in the moment. You don't have to be in that rushy river that's going a million hours. So This is a great tool that you can use in your own classroom if you're, or a meeting if you're a director. Just take a picture from your own power of the pause and incorporate it into the middle of a meeting. Oh, let's just pause here a second and reflect on what is this picture? Let me tell you a story about it. Incorporating just small little things in your meetings can make a big difference to your team. It can make a big, huge difference to your students. So, Hippo, he's got it all figured out. He paused to the turtles. We got something online? What's her name? Maybe we could hook up. Her name is Jennifer too? That can't be. I mean, it was only the most popular name from 1972 to 1979, top 10. I've never met another Jennifer in my life. Ooh, I like that. So you're creating a wheel with all kinds of different breaks. That's a really good idea. I'm gonna steal that, or I should say borrow, right? So take a moment and count the turtles. And I'll just add on to this story. I was getting ready to walk away, and I like, come on, I was like, come on. And usually he's way ahead of me, and then he wouldn't come. And then I was like, oh, wait a minute, there are more turtles on down far the bank. So like, I think I counted like 30 altogether. So this is just a small snippet. So take the time to count turtles. All right. So we had it brought up online, but one of my favorite things, and I had a board member that it was hilarious that whenever we did a strategic plan, she was like, can we incorporate drawing and coloring? And I'm like, yeah. Does that make you think good? And she goes, yeah, it just helps. It helps me relax my mind. And so we had color crayons, we had markers, we had all kinds of stuff where they were just doodling and zendangling. Now, this actual example is where you can go ahead and grab out a piece of paper, those online, you got a paper right in front of you, I'm sure, and just try it. Draw a rectangle, put a circle in the middle, draw lines from the circle to the edge of the rectangle. Does it matter what it looks like? Nope. The object is it's just your creation and it gives your brain a break. And there's, like I said, the slides are going to be yours, and there's a link to a YouTube video for those that like more instruction. That's all good. But the benefits of doodling, one study found that people who doodle during a lecture or meeting can remember things better than those who don't. It helps them tap into creativity and avoid getting bored. No one's ever been bored in a meeting before, have you? No, not me. So boost your mood, ease your stress, and do a little doodling during some meetings. Incorporating breaks into your daily routine. Now, why is there a unicorn on the screen? Well, it's because it's about you. You got to be unique. Okay, you got to be unique. You have to incorporate your rules and your breaks into your routine. It doesn't matter what Joe does or Mary does or Katie does or Sheila does or Nell does or Regina does or Vanessa does. I'm reading name tags. I don't know all of them people. So it's about what works for you. So scheduling breaks. Now, this is something that I actually do. And I will actually put on my calendar, because one thing about our website is that someone can go on and they can talk to me instantly. They can book a meeting instantly if they want. That gets a little nerve-wracking sometimes. So sometimes I just block it. This is a spot for you to go take a break. Go take a break, take Hippo out. Go upstairs, get a snack. And because I've been trying to eat healthier and take breaks to actually have some snacks, highly encourage you to do that. Eating every 2 or 3 hours is so much better for you. Little snacks. So schedule it in your calendar. Make it a reminder that pops up. It's time for you to take a break. Now, the Pomodoro, that one I did not practice, but I tried this and it didn't work for me, but maybe it would work for you. So this is where you actually set a timer, you work for 25 minutes, and then you go take a break. There is a video that you can watch on more information on that. It just wasn't for me, but it might work for you. It all depends on your schedule, but using an app to track, using your calendar, if you need that type of visual, if you need that thing, it might work for you. I'm a paper person, so I like my paper calendar much better than I do my phone, even though it's right there to time me to make sure I stay on track. All right. But then there's break triggers. Now, I forgot it, but I have this little frog timer that I sit on my desk. And whenever all the other things don't work for me, I'll see that little frog and I'll be like, oh, it's time to take a break. So set my 5 minutes, however long. I go do my break. And then when I hear the ding, I'm like, oh, it's time to go back to work. Got to go back to work. So there's something that if you need a trigger, which most of us do, to rethink, then creating that break trigger. And it could be anything you want it to be. It doesn't have to be anything in specific. The one thing I want about setting boundaries is establishing your work with clear end and clear beginning times, clear end times. How many have stayed at the office or a classroom just a little longer than 5? Oh, I just got one more thing to do. No, that's whenever you spend that last 15 minutes and you're like, okay, I'm going to carry that over. You carry everything over, you leave it there, and you walk away. You got to set boundaries. Having a designated break space. Now, working from home, my break is anywhere in the house besides my desk. But whenever it comes to your space, your classroom, your office, where could you put a break in? Where could you put a spot that your team, your students would know that they could put a break? I visited a friend of mine's classroom, and she did 3rd grade. She's moved all around, but this time she was doing 3rd grade. And I looked in the corner of her classroom, and I'm like, what is this? Because I was just like, and she's like, that's just a spot where they can go and just take a break if they need it. She had a bean bag. She had some books. She had some paper for doodling. So whatever it is, but make a designated spot where there's no screens, nothing that can distract you from, not taking one. Engaging in physical activity, of course, is really important. We talked about that a bunch already. We've done some breathing. We talked about walking, but it's truly the physical and mental well-being of engaging in some physical activity is. It makes me want to go take a walk. Do you guys just want to skip the rest of the session and just go do a walk? Okay, maybe not. I might get in trouble for that. All right. The one thing that I will say about staying hydrated and nourished is we do not drink enough water. Did you know you're supposed to drink half your body weight in water? Okay, I'm going to be in the restroom all the time, but that's how much water you're supposed to drink. And whenever it comes to taking a break with water, you think, well, Jen, that's nothing fabulous or exciting or out of the standing. Well, have you ever just taken a drink? That water went all the way down the throat and just. Well, you can do that at a bar too. Different strokes for different folks, right? The long and short of it is create something that triggers you to remind you to take a break. Now, you can schedule them. We talked about that. But whenever it comes to habits, that's what you got to really form whenever it comes to taking a break. It can't just be a break, it's got to become a habit. Now, Atomic Habits is a great book. I read that. Some of this stuff is from that. The triggers is a little loosely formed on that. But taking your existing habits and creating some type of action, some type of time, some type of place, some type of emotion that creates the habit that's when you take a break. Any ideas on how, thinking about your routine and your schedule right now, where could you intertwine that?
If you're on virtual meetings all day, book in some time that at the end of a virtual meeting, you take a break.
Ending the meeting 5 minutes early and saying, I'm going to give you a break. No hint. Go ahead.
Mine isn't necessarily related all to work, but someone had suggested to me during TV time, during the commercial, standing up and doing like us, like your shoulder rolls or your, because then the commercial comes on and it triggers your brain to do that. And then also, yes, like during, in the middle of a session, we take a break and do that.
Kind of eat them up.
Based on what you were saying, because I know I'm supposed to take breaks and I know I'm supposed to take my lunch break, but so many times I sit and eat at my desk, but I might be able to do a compromise of mindful eating while I'm not getting up, taking that break and eating at my desk.
I think something that I've been trying to practice is to stop multitasking when I'm taking a break. For example, even after work, I'll put something on TV and I'm still scrolling on my phone. And so trying to be more intentional about my time and what I'm doing with it.
So I'll tell you a little story real, we can come back to you. My granddaughters are great lessons. They help me with lessons too, because I was multitasking and my little Hazel, she goes, Gigi, you're doing it again. And I was like, what am I doing? And she goes, you're ignoring. You said we were going to do this. You said, she's very diplomatic about it. And so I was like, my apologies, young lady. We will do this. And then my other Charlie, she's I don't know how to describe Charlie. We won't go there. But anyway, she was like, I think it's time for a dance break because you're a little distracted. And so we have Happy. Everybody like the song Happy? That's the song she says, Alexa, turn on Happy. And then we just start dancing. Now, that might not work in schools, but it certainly works at home. And why not dance at a commercial? But hey, yeah, it could work in schools, couldn't it? Now, somebody had a thought they wanted to share.
If you have friends and family who care about you, I was just sharing with my colleague, my mother-in-law calls me every day at 1:30 because she knows I'm a workaholic. And she's like, every day she'd be like, I'm calling you to tell you, get off of that computer right now and take a break. So I have the best mother-in-law in the world, but maybe a buddy system, somebody who cares, and like a colleague or co-worker who can say, let us take a break. Did you take a break? Let's go out for a walk, but some buddy system.
That it is okay? Yes. Now, How many are you right now are sitting by a friend? Okay. So guess who your buddy is to remind you that taking a break is. Go ahead, look at each other, commit to it. And those of you that aren't sitting by a buddy, well, we can make some arrangements. All right, so we got to create a break-free environment. We talked about that a little bit, but you actually have to remember to communicate your need for a break. Have you ever been sitting in a meeting and you can tell that everybody is disengaged? That is the perfect time to say, hey, we obviously need a break. Let's get up and stretch. Let's get up and walk around the room. Let's refocus. Whenever it comes to virtual audience, I can't remember I don't remember which meeting it was, so I can't give credit to them, but they were like, obviously everybody needs a break. Can somebody go find me something red? And so everybody leaves and they come back and we got all these show and tell instant on the screen. Got somebody making faces at me out back there. So creating that break-free environment. Make sure you communicate that you need a break. Minimize your distractions. Let your colleagues know when you're going to step away. This is really important for those directors in the room. You know, making sure that I say, hey team, I'm just going to go take a quick break. Then what are you doing? You're leading by example. Anybody heard that phrase before? Pretty sure you have. So minimize those distractions, designate a break space, challenge yourself to disconnect. Sheila wants to say something.
If you happen to be in a school where I teach teenagers, and if you can't like leave your classroom, if you are a director, stop and let that teacher go to the bathroom. Or stand in for them for a second, give them a chance to take a break. That's really helpful.
All right, there's nothing worse than whenever it comes to bodily functions that there isn't that built into a session. Pre-con was really bad last Sunday for that. What you got?
So my birthday was last month.
Happy birthday!
And one of my gifts from one of my, so I am a program director, and a gift from one of my employees was a sign that says, do not disturb. It says in a meeting. So I might not be in a meeting, but I think this would be great because they know not to distract me during that time.
Creating a break culture with a sign that simply says, I'm in a meeting, I'm on a break. But you know what? Break the mold. I'm on break. What does that say to your team? It's okay to take a break. You're creating a break culture. All right. So sometimes I know my material so well that I forget that it's in there, but this is truly where we are leading by example. We have that open communication. We normalize, we rethink that breaks are okay. They are good. Say it with me. Breaks are good. Breaks are okay. I am going to incorporate a break. I love it. No buts. We got something in the.
One second. So Kathy says it's difficult because our grant requires to account for our time to the nearest 15 minutes. I feel guilty taking a break.
Okay, so whenever it comes to a requirement in a grant that there is no grantee, I just don't believe it, that would think that you should work on that grant 24/7. I mean, there's just not. So schedule it in your calendar. Do not feel guilty. And if you have to make little triggers for yourself with Post-it notes to remind yourself, you got this, take a break, whatever it is, do not feel guilty. Repeat after me and throw it in the chat. I will not feel guilty for taking my next break. Awesome. Okay.
They have to have this so they can hear it online.
I guess you know the person already said it, but if you're in a culture where everybody else are like workaholics, and you are the break taker, then you get the impression that you are the slouch or the slacker offer, and everybody else is on task, and somehow you are not productive enough because even though you are, but there's this sense that you aren't. Where are you finding time to take a break? Something, you know. So the culture around you sort of sometimes normalizes overworking, and then you become the person who's
Yeah, thank you for those comments. I'm reminded of a person who was my boss for 6 years that this is related, not exactly on topic, but he was really big on when he would take annual leave. He loved traveling, and he was very visible and said, okay, I'm going to be in Switzerland for 2.5 weeks and I'm taking leave and I won't be checking email. So my name's Jody. Say, Jody, you're in charge while I'm gone. And he would help me. And then he wouldn't respond to email. He was so, had such a strong work ethic. Like I would never have thought he was a slouch. But he did that because that was important to him. And he was the director of our center, and he really normalized it for me. So I do feel like you're speaking to that. I think leaders have a particular. You have to lead by example, and I get what this woman was saying, that it can be hard when the culture isn't already there, and there can be a subtext. Maybe it's in our own heads, or maybe it's not, that it's like you're slouching, you're not pulling your weight if you're taking breaks. So
I felt that same way. I have like 200 and some odd days saved up before I retire. I'll never get them. They'll not pay for them. I did not use them. Use them. If you are given breaks, that is part of your compensation. Take the break, take the vacation. It's okay. Your class will not die if you're not there for a week.
One thing that I will say whenever it comes to, as an association leader, I've got board members that, it is hard when you're planning things and you got 13 members that have different programs and different commitments. And whenever they say to me, we're on spring break, but I can do it anyway. I'm like, no, if you're on break, that's cool. We'll do something, we'll arrange it, we'll make it happen, we'll record it, whatever we need to do so that you're still taking your break. We try to normalize that in IAACE as well. But whenever it comes to that challenge, I'm really bothered by that. And whenever, that workaholic mentality, and that's when we have to rethink. So maybe a book group where you're reading a book together. That's my first instinct. Maybe it's like, well, why don't you try going outside with me for a 5-minute walk and doing some deep breathing, and then come back and see how much more productive you are and how you can actually finish that task that you've been procrastinating on for how long? Because procrastination it's just a form of, what'd you say? Avoidance. Yes, that's the word I was looking for. Nella's so good like that. All right. So you can implement policies and procedures that actually, Sheila was just talking about your PTO days and all of that. So what if your program or your team or whatever actually schedule out on a calendar that is shared, where everybody is scheduling, okay, I would really like this day off. And so therefore we're all communicating when our days off are, and not too many people are off at the same time, but implementing something that will actually normalize it, make it a part of your everyday routine. You're implementing formal policies, making sure that, it's been a long time since I've been in the corporate world, but back in the corporate world, breaks were scheduled. You know, you were expected, go take a break. You know, it's your break time. Have you, retail establishments, you're just getting ready to check out and the manager comes up and say, hey, she's going on a break. Now, of course, they have somebody to step in and you don't always have that, but you got to implement it into your daily lives. We talked about providing break spaces, making sure that there's comfortable seating, there's some activities. Maybe it's coffee, maybe it's tea. Maybe you actually make a point of knowing what everybody's favorite snack is or favorite drink is. We did that for our strategic plan. Got everybody's what their favorite was. And whenever it was break time, I'm like, go check out the kitchen, guys. Everybody's favorite is in there somehow. And it was so fun because they would be like, who loves Kit Kats? I love Kit Kats. Is this for me? And they're like, I'm like, I think there was more than one for Kit Kats, you know? So way to incorporate it, engage, show appreciation. Showing appreciation is so important as well whenever it comes to that. Woo. Okay, we talked about that. So this is one of the things that we used to do whenever I was in the literacy world. Catch up time. So this is an AI image, just so you know. So you can create your own catch up image, but it's simply a time where you actually schedule. And maybe it's a thank God it's Monday, maybe it's a thank God it's Friday, maybe it's a hump day moment where it's just a time that you and your team, you and your students get together and you just catch up. How was your weekend? Was it good? Did you do anything fun? Oh, what if it's on Friday? What do you guys got? What are you gonna do this weekend? Are you gonna do anything fun? You're just catching up with each other, getting to know each other. And you know what getting to know each other and catching up with each other does? It builds relationships. And that's whenever you build relationships that people start to know that, hey, she takes break, but man, does she kick butt? She gets things done. Learning more about each other. So take a break, catch up. So I'm like, how am I doing on time, girls? I'm okay? Okay, all right. I don't want to like, is it one, right? I should know that. I got 18 minutes. All right, I think we got time then. So encouraging movement, we talked about that. There's exercise classes, there's walking meetings, there's fitness challenges, there's just ways that you can incorporate with your team that involves movement. Now, virtual meetings are all the popular these days, but what if instead of a virtual meeting with your boss or I'm sitting behind the desk and you're sitting in the chair, what if you said, hey, let's take a walk, and have our break real quick, have our chat of what's going on. And you just walk around the building if it's not warm. Walk outside if it is warm or nice, not too hot, not too cold. So encouraging movement. Whenever it comes to recognition and awards, this could be as simple as verbal praise. When's the last time somebody said, hey, Nell, your presentations freaking rock, and I get something out of them every time I come to one of your sessions, and I just can't tell you how much I appreciate you presenting at COAB. That's all true, girl. When's the last time somebody just gave you some verbal praise? When's the last time you delivered some verbal praise? It's a form of taking a break. It's that recognition that you need that, hey, I'm doing all right. And sometimes we're all human. And sometimes you get so like in the routine that one time I had a board member and she just stopped me and she goes, do you appreciate all that I've been doing? And I'm like, oh my God, yes. What? Why do you say that? And she goes, it's just been a while since I heard you say thank you. And I'm like, oh my goodness, thank you. I am so sorry. I mean, have you guys read the Love Language book? That's another book I'll throw out there. I love that book. But understanding what everyone's love language is, and there's workplace love language. So, don't get any weird thoughts up there. But whenever it comes to knowing that if you are, I mean, for instance, I'm appreciated by somebody doing acts of service for me. That is my that's how the way my husband shows that he appreciates me. So whenever he leaves little messes around the house for me to clean up, oh, okay. But acts of service is not my love language in the workplace. Surprisingly or not, it's not. What is it? It's that quality time aspect, that time with people, because being a remote worker sometimes is really hard because nobody can just show up at your door sometimes and just say, hey, you want to catch up? So that is part of the reason why I have the ability to schedule a chat with any time, but it's real. And whenever it comes to training and resources, this is really about bringing in some stuff that could help. So maybe you have a workshop that is about meditations and mindfulness. Maybe it's about mindsets. Maybe you bring a yoga instructor in and she teaches somebody to how to do yoga at their desk. That's a real thing. And it's just about learning and growing together as a team. But what are you doing? You're promoting it. You're incorporating it. It all makes sense, right? Are we good with that topic? Anything online? Okay. So whenever you solicit feedback from your employees regularly about the effectiveness of a break, this is also very good. So use surveys and focus groups and discussions to gather insights. Whenever someone is implementing a certain way to do their breaks, whenever they've discovered what works for them, follow up with them. Hey, you said that you were going to start scheduling breaks in your calendar. Is that working for you? Are you doing that? Is it going okay? Do you need any help? Is there anything I can do? Making sure you understand what's working for someone and following up with them, having those one-on-one discussions, and doing a survey of your class. And speaking of survey, let's check in with those online people. How do they get feedback? Go ahead and throw it in chat. Just popping over into gab with their coworkers. Ah, the days of having coworkers that were like in the next office. Oh, I miss those days. Okay, maybe just a little, but not a whole lot. Just kidding. All right. So absolutely, we're going to have it as we take a little break outside though, okay? Katie is the current president and we have our weekly chat and I look forward to him because it's just time that I can just tell her what's on my mind, tell her what we need to do. And she like, oh, Jen, we don't want to do that. We just have time to just talk one-on-one. So incorporating that is really important. Okay. Podcast online. There is nothing like just closing your eyes. So let's go ahead and do that real quick. Just close your eyes. Whenever I close my eyes, sometimes I like try to remember, who's sitting beside me? What color is their hair? I think it's purple. I think her name's Sheila. Oh yeah? You got one? Here.
It's called a polarity balance. You put your right hand on the back of your head. Remember, I'll be right back, and your left hand on your forehead while you're sitting there with your eyes shut, and it feels really good, and it will make your brain kind of get back in line. I teach all my students. We do it every day.
If you feel movement, don't stop. All right, I've got 10 minutes, so we gotta get through. Because we're a little short on time, I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time on this, but basically, this is ditching the to-do list, and it's not for everybody, but I have met someone who does make this work for them. But basically, time is this. There is only so much time. Your to-do list is infinite. So if you schedule the things that you need to do, I'm going to take 1 hour to work on that grant proposal. I'm going to take 30 minutes to do that grant report. That's what you do. That's how much time you spend on it. And then you take a break and you come back to it later. You only get what you done when in the allotted time you have. The key takeaways were that really it's a skill. Delegation is a skill, but you have to find the right fit. You have to overcome mental barriers. You have to break free from that to-do list. And there's resources in the slideshow, and the YouTube link is in there. So this is the point where we ask some questions, and yeah.
So one area where I struggle is staying on task. So I'm pretty good about blocking time, but I'll start doing a task and then find something's wrong. Like let's say I need data from here to answer this question. And then I find that the data are wrong. So then I end up over there on the data. And then when I do the data, then I find something else wrong. And then it's like I go in a big, like I end up way over in Oz when I was supposed to be in Philly. How I don't know what to do about that. Like that's something I really struggle.
So what I can relate to that is whenever I'm working on membership stuff and I'm checking emails and I'm going through and I'm like, oh, did that member do that? And they're asking me a question. And so, yeah, the instinct is, okay, I'm just going to go back and I'm going to, no, whatever works for you, whether it's a to-do list, it's a sheet, it's a trigger, you put it over, you write it down. I'm going to come back to that. Now, if it's something that you have to correct in order to continue the task, then reschedule what you're going to do. Move it totally out. You're moving that away. You can't do that right now. Totally move it from your schedule, and then reschedule what you need to do, what you need to focus on, what you need to correct, and ask for help when you can't. Yeah.
One of the things that I'll do is I'll put XXX and I'll highlight it yellow. And that way I go ahead and finish whatever I'm needing to do. And then I go back and do the XXXs where I have to look up this number or I have to go find this information. And that way I can stay on task and get it written and then find the details that I need.
Excellent. Excellent. So whenever it comes to a hat, do you put a hat on if it doesn't fit or if it doesn't look good? Do you buy the hat anywhere or do you swap it for another one? Okay. So if the hat doesn't fit what you've tried, swap it for another one. Now, some choices are like haircuts though. So you're stuck with that bad haircut for a while. It can't be undone instantly, but don't let that stop you from growing and taking risk. And then whenever it comes to a tattoo, there's those tattoo decisions. Once they're made, they're permanent. And no decision about taking a break is permanent. It's a hat. You got to remember that. If you don't like it, change it up. So what kind of decision maker are you? Do you like to play it safe? Take risk? Do you like to think things through? Risk takers, raise your hands. Ooh, kind of slim for risk takers in the room. Go ahead and raise your hand online or throw it in chat if you're a risk taker. But what about the thinkers? What about who are my thinkers? Ooh, we got a lot of thinkers in the room. You guys need some triggers. So, this is where I'm going to ask you. Yeah, everybody. You can have as many as you want. I got plenty. So if you need to give them for a friend, this is where you embrace the power of the pause. You open yourself up to the world of possibilities. You're going to become more present, more mindful, more connected to ourselves. When you begin to see challenges as opportunities and growth, you approach life with a renewed sense of clarity, repurpose. So, in the words of Mary Oliver, instructions for living a life: pay attention, be astonished, tell about it. When we pause, we give ourselves a chance to pay attention. Be astonished by that beauty. Tell your own unique story. So, this invitation is a commitment. You're wearing this bracelet to remind you to take the power of the pause in your hands. It doesn't matter what others think. It doesn't matter what others do. It's about you and your commitment to yourself that you're going to take a break and reflect in the power of the pause. Who's committed? Raise those bracelets. Awesome. I love it. She's taking some for friends. Yep. And hey, like I said, I've got plenty of them. If you want to take some to your team, if you want to incorporate that into your environment. Okay. Go. Well, unfortunately, I take homework for you. I'm just kidding. So whenever I made the transition to working from home is when the light bulb hit, because I had to set boundaries for my husband because he thought I'm home. Therefore, I can answer, where's the spoon? Where's this? Where can you make me a sandwich? And I'm like, dude, pretend I'm at the office. So my space is where I do work. If I'm not in that space, I am not working. You know, obviously when I'm at conference, that's a whole different story. But you've got to create that space, and that's the space you do your work. And whenever it comes to that break culture, you know what I mean? That the culture at the office is important. You got to be able to, no one takes work home. Let's go home. Let's enjoy our family. Life is too darn short. Work is not 24/7. It'll be there tomorrow. It doesn't matter if it doesn't get done now. Okay? It can wait. So my advice to you, whenever you're feeling that, get out a Post-it note, piece of paper, and write, "It can wait." Stick it on your forehead if you need to. And then walk away. So thank you so much for being here. be committed, take the power of the pause, and go enjoy a conference. And hey, come to CoWave 2026 in Indianapolis.